Hey everyone, my name is Natalie Palomares, and I'm a clear conduit medium. Today I'm going to be sharing in a sense, an August monthly forecast to give you some insight into what you might be experiencing in the month of August. So I hope you find this message supportive and helpful for your month ahead. Take a look. So just to remind you all that this is going to be a generalized reading, so it's going to be more from a wider perspective versus very individualized, but it can impact you on the individual level. So for the month of August, what I encourage you to do is to just assess yourself from these ideas or from the perspective that I was given to communicate to you all. So the things to notice in August from a personal standpoint, from the mental state, the emotional state, and then even your action state, is to recognize that the energies actually are going to be slowing down. So, over the last 6 months, we've had a little bit of like forward momentum where we have felt like we're making progress, we're moving forward, we're doing new things, we're headed in a direction, right? But in the month of August, we're going to actually experience a slowdown. We're going to experience a feeling of, for those of us that are used to forging ahead, we're going to notice an energy of resistance, because what the energy is wanting us to do is to pause, reflect, but not just reflect, observe. Observe how you're feeling in that stagnation. When these situations, circumstances, conversations, interactions come up to you, when you are met with these situations and all of that, are you truly aligned with your authentic ways of living? In a sense of, we have these ideas of how we want to be, how we want to interact, how we want to communicate, but are we actually doing it? It's all in the thought space, right? Have we dropped it into the body? Are we actually taking action in that state? And so it's a time for us to be able to pause and reflect and slow down and allow the brainwaves to kind of not be so action forward and slow it down so that we can really assess. Take a break, if you will, but even with that, like I already get a feeling of people are like, dang, I feel like I've already been doing that. And it's true, some of you have been, and that's what I'm saying. For those who are wanting to push ahead, you're going to be met with an even bigger resistance because the energies all around us are getting us to really slow down, the brainwave. So what would be a really great practice is to sit in that discomfort, sit in meditation, and just allow things to be, allow things to come up and arise within you so that you can observe your thoughts. And in that slowdown, you would actually be surprised that come later in August, you're going to receive some downloads. You're going to receive an opening. It's almost like the vision that I'm getting is like a book is starting to open, the pages are starting to flip. And as soon as that page opens, I mean, at least it's a practice within me that I kind of just go to a book and I open it up and I read somewhere that I'm called to. That's the vision that I'm getting. It's going to be a book that starts flipping through and then it's going to fall open to the page that you're supposed to read, and then all of this information is going to be received by you beautifully when you allow yourself to actually receive. And that's what August is for, is to give you a moment to receive new insight, to receive new ideas, new thoughts, new energy, give you a sense of, again, reprieve. Another great thing to really observe yourself with is so the vision that came to me, it was me pushing ahead, but then this energy just forcing me to stay. And I kind of saw myself bobbing like this, like you can see in the video where I'm bobbing. And I was kind of, I was me personally in this energy. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And so as I stood in that, the more and more, again, as I kind of just mentioned, the more and more I felt within myself. And then the words that came to me was learn to accept what is, learn to accept, in a sense, a spade for a spade. Situations, circumstances, they are what they are. And a lot of times we hope they are to be something else entirely. We actually have this misconception, this misperception of what the situation is, what the circumstance is, based on our hopes, wishes, dreams, and desires. But that is our own human mind that is putting that projection onto these things. And so the more that we can sit in stillness and feel our own discomfort, the more we allow that brainwave to drop lower, and we receive that open book where it's a time to kind of flip through things and allow that to rest so we can see that download. And then we can come to more in a state of acceptance. Like, oh, okay, so this actually sucks. This situation actually sucks. I'm not a big fan of it. Or I absolutely love where things are going right now. I'm going to enjoy the ride right now. It all depends on our perceptions and where we're at with how we perceive things, how we view things. But what you want to start practicing is allowing it to show up as it is. And this is not just circumstances and situations or conversations, it's the person that you're dealing with. And that person could be yourself. Have you learned to accept yourself in a lot of the progression and a lot of the growing that we all have done lately? It's come up in many one-on-one readings that actually last year when I would do a lot like group channeling, group readings for people, and also one-on-one, this year was going to be Uranian ruled, and not even just this year. That's going to be next year as well. Uranian ruled means it's planned by it's ruled by the planet Uranus or Uranus, however we want to pronounce it. And that means a lot of change, a lot of awakening, a lot of new, fast things occurring, revelations, awakenings, all of that. So this year is going to be that. So the rest of this year is going to be that, but next year is too. So we kind of just got to start learning to go with the flow, learning to, and that's as a human, that's one of my challenges is to learn to go with the flow because I want to move ahead. I want to keep going. And that's what staying in this discomfort is going to educate us on is what is the positive of being stagnant? What can you actually gain from this experience? And in that, you're going to actually gain more insight on how to move ahead in those goals, those dreams, those wishes, and desires. Again, this is a general reading for those who are watching this. You can book with me one-on-one appointments on my website online, and I'll put that link in the content below. But just to let you know, you're not alone in this discomfort. You're not alone in the growing pains. You're also not alone in some of you that are experiencing some blissful times. You know, some of you are experiencing some really high things, and that's a great experience. But to also meet people where they're at right now, there's a majority of people are not having the best of time. And so to practice compassion for those that are slower in the progress, because we're trying to come back into a state of equilibrium right now as a human collective. How can we come back to balance? And so having a state of compassion and love for those and acceptance, more importantly, that's what this time period is all about. That's actually what this full moon was about. This full moon recently that actually is today is in Aquarius, or it's in Aquarius and Leo opposition. And so Aquarius is all about accepting us as the individual, and that is really what the energy of August is all about: is acceptance for the individual, acceptance for the situation, acceptance for the conversation where that person is at. So are you willing to meet them where they're at? Or are you going to just kind of run away from this? And that's another thing that was shown to me is that some people are trying to run away from this, but if you're going to be met with it, you're going to get that slowdown. I hope all of this met you where you're at right now. And I look forward to giving you some more insight into a general reading for the next months come ahead. But come October, we'll be getting some more forward momentum, some forward energy. So that's something to look forward to not let this very temporary time to discourage you from where you're going. It's actually a really positive thing to experience when you allow your mind to open up to that possibility. So my love to you all, and I wish you the best. Take care.